Hello, Gemini creators. Welcome to Creators on the Crest. I'm Stephanie. Blazer the Morkie is over here with me. You may hear him provide some sound effects throughout the course of the reading. And we welcome you to your timeless reading today, Gemini. Today I'm going to be pulling a card for your overall energy, and then we're going to look into your specific energy, the energy of the person or situation connected to you, and then how those energies mingle and dance in the middle. We'll close it off with some special messages today for the Gemini collective. We always want to keep in mind these are general readings, so take only what resonates and work with that. Leave the rest. And I will talk more at the end of the video about all of my offerings, so if you're resonating and you're enjoying this, stay tuned. Let's get your overall energy and jump on into your reading, Gemini. The overall energy today is coming from the Sacred Geometry of Relationships Oracle. Gemini, you got number 14, connection. The frequency of connection supports our ability to find alignment and resonance with others, things, and ideas. Connection. So something is connecting in here. I feel like you've been pulling on the edges of this for a while, trying to bring things into a place of fulfillment. Not completion, but fulfillment for yourself. Okay, Gemini. On your side, you're giving me the Three of Swords, the Ace of Swords, and the Five of Wands. You're dealing with something kind of tricky here. Definitely an opportunity to heal some pain. Maybe not tackle it from a huge perspective of like diving in deep to something really big that hurt you, but it seems like you might be working with a few layers at a time. I think that's appropriate for where you're at and how you are thinking about things. There seems to be some sort of mental clarity that is coming from your attention to working on that pain, or some mental clarity that will come if you do focus on that. So when you think about the ways that maybe you've been hurt, whether it was a recent hurt or something from the past, what is it that you're carrying around that you'd really like to let go of and be free of? And that would be what to work on. You do have the Five of Wands here. The connection card was 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. I see another 5 in your shared energies in this situation. There's some sort of conflicted energies that you're carrying. It might have to do with the energy of forgiveness, how much you're able to forgive or how much you're able to forgive right now. It could represent the 5 stages of grief for some of you. It does seem like you are really present with trying to move through these energies. But this would be, so for those of you, you're going about your day to day and things are moving. This would be those moments or those down days where you're having a rough time or something just activates you. It gets the best of you. You get kind of caught up in something. You're having a mood, something like that, right? And you may find yourself thinking, what's wrong? What's wrong with me? Why am I feeling like this? So you're kind of showing me that kind of energy that you want to pay attention to those times, because maybe that's when you're at your worst and you want to make some notes about that. Now for the person connected to you, they get the World card, the Magician, and the Knight of Swords. They seem to be turning over in some cycles, bringing an ending to one cycle and a beginning to maybe even learn how to operate more confidently in their own skin. This would be someone who I feel like has a bit of insecurity, or they're coming out of a time frame where maybe they were younger, maybe they've grown, they've gone through some rites of passage that have to do with age, perhaps, or, they're just growing up. They're growing into themselves, though, here. That's a very important part of it. They're learning to trust their own selves, their own confidence. And then in the center of the connection, you get the Sun and the Five of Cups. This is the happiest of the happy and the saddest of the sad with the Five of Cups. So the relationship I'm seeing is someone close to you. It could be a parent and child. It could be two partners. It could be a brother and a sister here. This is someone that you've definitely shared a lot of time and connection. You've been through the good times, you've been through the bad times. But it's clear that in the bad times, it feels like there's still connection here. There's still presence and the ability to find alignment, as that connection card says. So let's get some clarifiers here. So sometimes when we're looking at energies and readings and the energies don't feel that great, rest assured, my readings are intended to help uplift you, encourage you, and support you through it. It's not meant to ignore it or minimize it or glaze over it or gloss over it here. So when you're showing me these energies, Gemini, you're being very vulnerable and you're showing me the things that you really need to work on. That's what I tune into. I tune into your greater being. I'm asking for your highest and best good to come through these messages to help uplift you and encourage you even through the hardest of times. So for the Three of Swords, so for that pain, you get the Strength card and the Star card. These are two major arcana cards. I think the Strength card, that's Leo energy. The Star card is Aquarius. So you might want to look in your chart, or if you have Leos or Aquarians around you, they may be a part of this in some way, shape, or form. But when we have the Strength card with the Three of Swords, this is your ability to not push through the pain, okay? Because that would indicate a forceful kind of energy. It's your ability to stay present with pain and let it inform you. You seem to be the kind of individual who has learned to open your heart to yourself, even during some really tough circumstances in your life. You seem to aim high for getting yourself in a better position. You're not just here to live a mediocre life, and you're showing me that here. And so you're making the connection that I understand that because I'm meant to live a juicy life, because I'm meant to have goals and aspirations, because I'm meant to make the most of this human experience, I understand that part of that is going through pain, being present with the pain, and transcending the pain. And that does not happen overnight, but you are showing me that you are willing to remain strong through those times or those moments or those bad days. Let's look at this Ace of Swords here. The Page of Wands and the Death card. Some of you are quite clever, and Gemini is known for their intelligence, but I also sense a bit of cleverness in the sense of like inventor kind of energy, where you're coming up with something new, something original. The Page of Wands with the Ace of Swords, that means the mind is aligned, and then the passionate energies are being really well observed. While at times you may not feel like you're moving as quickly as you want to, you do have a consistent fire burning here for what your focus is. And some of you are just very clever. You have very creative, and I'm not surprised you're attracted to creators on the Crest channel. You are definitely taking up those kinds of positions in your lives. All of you Geminis out there, where you are really going to remain consistently curious and passionate and make the most of this life. Now, the Death card comes in with a bit of Scorpio energy. That could indicate a position of or a placement in your chart, but it also speaks to your ability to transform through the timing of things, to understand that the cycles of life and death don't just happen once in our lifetime. We are born and we die, and we are born again and we die again many times in our life. This can happen with the ego. This can happen with the psyche. This can happen with the emotional body. And we're constantly regenerating ourselves. We're rejuvenating ourselves. We're transforming ourselves. And honestly, you're such a clever clogs, you know? Is that what they say in Peppa Pig? Aren't you a clever clogs, Gemini? Because you've really got this. It's cool because you have this bigger, higher level understanding, but you have fun with it in that playful, light Gemini way, right? And I think that serves you really well. And it keeps you open to those original inventions. All right, let's get some clarifiers for this Five of Wands. So what's this conflicting energy that you're going through? You get the King of Wands and the Four of Cups. Now, this could indicate a bit of a disharmonious note in one of your relationships, particularly with the masculine. That could be in relationship to the masculine energies that you have within you, whether you are a male or a female. It could also represent a masculine energy outside of yourself. Even the King of Wands and the Emperor are very close to me. It could be father energies. And there's a bit of a boundary here with your emotions with this individual. I'm not sure if it's the same individual that I'm picking up over here, but this could be part of what you're healing. You could have stumbled upon a relationship issue that you're looking to heal with this other character. At times, I think you feel like you're in your energetics, in your vibration, you're like, I don't want to go there, or I'm not ready to go there yet. Like that's a deeper part of my healing, and I don't know that I'm ready to dive into that. It may be for some of you a more secretive place inside where it's just you, right? You're the only one that knows what this is, or it's you and very few others, who the others may or may not be looking at this themselves. But let's look at this other person. I think that relationship that I just saw is something you're working on behind the scenes. It's different than this one over here, but there could be elements and threads. Oftentimes we can see those comparisons. Okay, Gemini, I just got really uncomfortable. I know some of you are very uncomfortable diving into whatever relationship that is there, okay? And it's okay. I just want to tell you it's okay. I just got very uncomfortable in my own skin. I started itching. Energy started moving, but in kind of a sporadic way. And I want to let you know here, Gemini, it's okay for you to take your time with that. Do not force and push and rush yourself into whatever that particular place of healing is. I can understand why you would want to make sure that you're in the right place and that the environment around you or the supportive energies around you are in place before you just go diving in there willy-nilly. It could be a bit of a shadow looping kind of experience otherwise. And what do the kids now say? They say, oh, I'm spiraling. It's that spiral, that downward spiral kind of feeling. So give yourself a little grace and be gentle with that aspect of yourself and that part of the healing. Take your time. Don't force yourself and don't judge yourself for how you are or are not dealing with that aspect of yourself, okay? And your experience. So, okay, so we're going to take, is that Etch-a-Sketch, and we're going to clear that for the moment. We're going to focus on this other energy. So this person that you're dealing with that seems to be coming out of a cycle, maybe stepping into their own power, their own magic. For the World card, they get the Nine of Swords and the Seven of Swords. This person seems to have been confused, stressed out, distrusting of someone or something, and maybe just a little bit sneaky in their own energies, meaning that they don't always appropriately align with their environment or their audience. They don't align their energies with their environment and their audience and what's appropriate. This person strikes me as someone who's coming out of a cycle where maybe they would say or do things. It wasn't very polished, okay? A little rough around the edges here, a little bit much. I think that brought stress to their relationships, but I also am looking at this and seeing that this is something that they're willing to leave behind, that they're willing to move away from. Their maturity level may be developing still. I don't want to say they're ahead, behind, or I don't want to make that kind of comparison. I just feel maybe with experience in life that maturity-wise, they're still developing. And it could be absolutely appropriate for their particular age here. They just tend to have a little bit more, I don't know, whippersnapper kind of energy, or I'm going to kind of low key this. I'm going to kind of go low. I keep getting all these, whatever the newest generation is, not millennials, but even after that, you know, all their little slang words, those keep coming up. Low key, spiral, you know, all of this that you hear them say. So that may just show that they're at a particular age, or they remind you of yourself at a particular age, perhaps even. Whoa, let's look at this Magician for them. That was too many cards though. I can't go with all those cards. But if any in there were meant to come out, this one here. Aha, the Magician is clarified by the High Priestess and the Three of Pentacles. I really like what I'm seeing here. This is what I would like to see for someone who's gaining experience and gaining more maturity. There is this understanding now within them, since they're coming out of this old cycle of just kind of maybe misstepping, not matching their audience, their environment correctly. They're now showing me that they've gained some wisdom here. I think they're ready to test themselves a little bit more in the world, become a little more present now. So for some, this could be someone who is going through a literal graduation, or it's like a soul level kind of graduation. They're having this kind of movement in that direction. They're learning how to work better with others. They're learning how to scan their environment, particularly when it comes to the emotional mental connection there. I don't think they're the kind of person that go into an environment and their physical presence is any kind of problem. It's what they've said and how they've said it, though, in the past. It's their communication has been a little on the, I don't know, immature side, or like I said, rough around the edges kind of feeling. And they're bringing a smoothness to that coming out of this old cycle. They may be this kind of person that you can see as they mature. You might call them, oh, you old smoothie, you know, kind of a charmer, but also that's just part of their natural personality coming out. They really are gaining wisdom here and recognizing they can't just do and say whatever they want in any environment without facing consequences of that, right? Especially if it's something that causes disruption or stress. Let's look at this Knight of Swords for them, the Hermit and the Queen of Pentacles. This is also good energy that I see this person growing into. Again, this may take some time, you know, this is going to happen over time. But with the Knight of Swords, that's an active energy. It's being able to move forward. But with the Hermit and the Queen of Pentacles coming in, these are energies that would slow a person down, that would take that Knight and say, hey, you know, guess what? Before you go chop that guy's head off over there, do you realize that's your cousin, you know? It's that kind of energy, but it's them slowing themselves down from taking an otherwise destructive action. It's them sheathing their sword, so to speak, holding their tongue, and going into the Hermit energy and the Queen of Pentacles to gather in what they've learned, where they've remembering, oh, I misstepped before. Oh, this is a critical moment for me. So they can begin to understand how to transition those energies and have more fulfilling experiences with the people around them. I like where they're headed, but it doesn't happen overnight. So do be patient with that. So the energy between the two of you, we had the Sun and the Five of Cups. An emotional sadness, but also joy and happiness. That's why I was saying I feel like the two of you have been down similar paths or been traveling together. So for the Sun, you bring in the energy of the Four of Swords. That's that healing, restful energy. And they bring in the Five of Swords, which is a bit of a challenging energy or a conflict or a I know better than you. Like I said, could be a parent, child, a big brother, big sister to a younger sibling, perhaps. That could be the case as well. Siblings could be a part of this. And I just feel their energy just a little sharper, a little rougher than yours, especially in the way they communicate and express. And I think that maybe at times when things have been happy and there's been celebrations, maybe they've kind of ruined the moment. And that's hurt you and caused you to maybe just need some time away from them here and there. Let's look at this Five of Cups. It's clarified on your side by the Two of Pentacles, on their side by the Page of Pentacles. I think one thing that maybe you've done with this person is in the aftermath of these things happening and then these maybe emotional results coming out of it, whether it be with you, your direct relationship, or you're witnessing them do this in other situations, or both, they're learning. They're kind of a slow learner. They seem to do better with when you give them options and when you say, okay, you know, what do you think about saying things this way instead of saying things that way? Can you smooth out that wording by saying it something like this? But if you kind of give them ideas, but in a question form, they seem to respond well to that. And that's how they learn. I feel like there's someone that you've engaged with in the aftermath of situations of misstepping or being too rough in a situation or having misplaced energy. Okay, Gemini, let's close off your reading with a few message cards today. This is the Divine Essentials Counterparts Oracle. So I want to say, when I'm pulling message cards, they may relate to the relationship that I've just read in the reading, or they may be representative of a completely different connection. They can also represent messages from the universe or your greater being to yourself. So your multidimensional being to you. You have to decide where to place these messages. But they're kind of fun, and I'm going to pull two of them here. Okay, here's one. And here's two. All right, I don't know that what I'm seeing here, these two messages come in the same as this relationship. I did not really get a romantic vibe out of this relationship. And I did get a loving vibe, more like a family vibe. So take it for what it is, but here are the two messages. These may come from another place, another person. I know you are the one, and that scares me. All right, so that could indicate somebody being a little bit afraid to come forward. It could indicate that you have a partner who is more shy, or that gets intimidated by the powerful connection that you have with them. And then the other message is, I'm amazed at how perfect you are for me. Sometimes it feels as if it's not real. I'm amazed at how perfect you are for me. Sometimes it feels as if it's not real. So take that for what it is, Gemini. To me, both of those messages are a bit more intimate, a bit more romantic than the connection that I was feeling with this other person. Since you are dealing with the frequency of connection right now, though, as your overall energy, I think you're looking to find alignment in all your relationships here. So Gemini, if you've enjoyed this reading, make sure to give it a like. I love to hear your comments, so please comment below. Let me know your feedback. Let me know what you liked. Let me know if you'd like to see me do something else. Be sure to check out my live events on my channel. Every other Sunday night, I do live Q&A and I do mini readings. So what you want to do then is you look out for it at 7 to 8 p.m. Central Time. Come on my channel at 7. Go into the live chat and drop your comments and drop your questions, and I'll do a little mini reading for you. Sometimes I get to them all, sometimes I don't. So people who join later sometimes don't get their questions answered. So come at the beginning if you can and drop your question in the live chat there. And we just kind of hit the ground running with that. Now, if that doesn't work for you, every Friday I'm live on my channel from 10 a.m. to noon, and I do collective messages for Frequency Friday, and we look into different themes each week. I often ask my subscribers what they would like the themes to be, or at least get a general idea so that I can hone in on exactly what you all are wanting to hear. And that is during the day. I know some people are working, so if 10 a.m. to noon on Friday does not work for you, don't worry, the replays are up. Same with the Q&A. The replay goes up. Let's say you came in the live, you dropped your question, but your kids came and got you, you had to check out or something like that. The replay will be there for you. And on Frequency Friday, I do timestamps, so it's real easy to see what the breakout readings were and go exactly to the place you want in that video. Also, be sure to check out the description below each video or short. I have lots of information for how to connect with me on the other social media platforms, how to get in touch with me if you'd like a one-on-one reading. And on Instagram and Facebook in the stories, watch for the specials that I run. I run them once in a while. They usually, if not always, have a time limit to them, so grab them while they're hot. Okay, Gemini, thank you so very much for joining this powerful reading today with a lot of dynamic information going on. I look forward to seeing you next time.